Hi everybody, my name is Rhys Barber. I'm the audiologist here at Audiology Associates. We upload new earwax removal videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 PM UK time, so please consider subscribing. Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal video today. We've got two patients in this compilation. So first patient's come through with very soft earwax, so lovely open ear canals here. Very sticky and soft wax. So we're just using the standard size Zollner tube, just going into the ear canal, lifting the wax from the base of the canal at the moment, so unsticking it from the canal walls, which is going to help us to remove it a bit later. You can see that the wax is stretching and then pulling away from the canal wall. So we're working from the left side to the right side now. There you go, slowly coming away, working back up to the right side. So working our way all the way around this piece of wax just to allow us to really get behind and get some traction to getting this out. There we are, nice big chunk just came away. So now we've got this this softer section. Now we're just moving this forward, maneuvering it out of the ear canal. You can see a nice big lump there. So it's broken away from a much deeper section here. So you can see that the wax on the right side comes a bit further towards the camera. So we're going to take that piece away first, because that's going to anchor some of the rest of this in place. There, we're just working the leading edge of this wax here, just moving it across from the right to the left hand side, trying to turn and spin the wax so that we get a much more flat surface to work on, so we get a much better suction grip. You can see using the wiggle there just to get that out, but it hadn't quite got the grip, so it broken away there. You can see it's quite big, it's struggling to get out of the canal. There we go. And there we are, it's a lovely looking eardrum there. So we're just working, this is the other side now, so the same patient but the second ear. Very similar story on this side, so you can see this much very soft, sticky type of wax in this side as well. So we're going to use the same technique as on the other side. We're going to lift first of all from the base of the canal. If you imagine, gravity is always going to pull the wax down to the lowest point, so we spend a lot of our time upright, so you're going to find that a lot of the wax ends up sitting at the base of the canal, so it usually really gets stuck there. So I always find it easier to remove from that section, usually that section first, and then you can see now we've got a good gauge point as to where the canal walls are because we've uncovered it at the base, so we can start working our way around the outside edge now. There we are, just slowly working our way around, detaching the sticky, more solid pieces of wax around the outside edge first. There we are. You can see how this dried up section here. There we go, it's starting to come away. Stick with this one, guys. The next one, it was a really difficult one to do, so it's well worth a watch. It goes on a bit though, so you might want to pause and make yourself a quick cuppa. So what you can see here is this bigger chunk just starting to come away now. So we're managing to get this out, just pushing the hairs aside. There's the eardrum looking lovely and shiny, all looking nice and healthy. There's that little bit of sticky wax there to the left hand side, so we'll just get rid of that. There you go. And there we are again, looking good. So this is what we removed. You can see that the difference in color, this kind of reddy brown colored wax tends to be more stickier, slightly hardened up type. So this next patient came through. We have a lot of difficulty here in this particular area where our clinics are based, where the waiting time to get wax removed from the ear is quite long, especially because a lot of the GP surgeries have actually stopped suctioning. So this lady was having her ears cleaned out quite regularly by the local hospital, the ear, nose and throat department, by the consultant, but has had her appointment cancelled quite a few times. So she was having this done roughly about every 6 months, but it's been 18 months since it's been done. The reason that she was going through there is because we've got very narrow ear canals. Now, the difficulty we have today is obviously instead of having 6 months worth of wax to take away, we now have 3 times as much as we normally would. So this lady's ear canal is very narrow at the entrance and then widens out quite a bit just as you get about quarter to a third of the way in, which is what you can see here. Now, when we first started using the suction tube, we started with a standard size ulnar tube and tried to get that into the ear, and it was too big. What happens then is it sits on the outer part of the ear canal and collapses the canal down in front of the suction, the force of the suction, which is uncomfortable for the patient and doesn't allow us to get in there very well. So we're having to use the ENT fine end. Now you can see, from the videos that you've seen so far, how small these fine ends are. They are very, very small, and we can just about get that into the ear canal with a little bit of room to maneuver. The difficulty we're having here is that we've got this really large hardened up piece of wax that's sitting in the wider section of the canal, and we can only use the fine end to get this out, which is kind of worst case scenario for us as far as wax removal is concerned. So what we're having to do is hold on to this hard lump, bring it towards the front of the canal and try and wedge it in that entrance so that we can start breaking little pieces off it so that we can fit this out of the ear canal. Okay. Now, the difficulty you have with the fine end is that when it does start breaking pieces off, only a tiny piece breaks away, it means that end blocks. So we have to keep unblocking the tube. So we have to keep going in, out of the ear all the time. The other thing that happens is you can't put too much pressure on it from the front because it pushes the wax further in, which is then going to cause you a problem. So you then have to hold on to it, try and bring it back to the front, wedge it so you've got enough force to break this off. So when you take all that into account, you can see why this lady was having to go to the ear, nose and throat specialist to get this done, because a lot of them have obviously quite specialized tools to do this. We have certain specialized tools, and I was confident that we could get this out. This is the Jobson horn. Okay, so you can see the end here and just how small this canal is, because that's the end of the Jobson horn, which is a couple of mil at the most at wide. I can't even put it into the ear canal sideways. I have to go in straight. So we can't use the Jobson horn, and it's not big enough to allow us to get the standard size ulnar tube in here at the moment. So we're still cracking on with this fine end. And you can see just how difficult this is. This wax is rock solid. So what I'm trying to do, but it is brittle. So what I'm trying to do is just break little pieces away, and we're making this ever so small, ever so much smaller every time we take a piece away until we can try and get it small enough to fit out this canal. This lady was an absolute star. She did so well. She was so nervous about going anywhere to have this done other than the ear, nose and throat specialist. We reassured her we would be as gentle as we possibly could, and we would get it out. But yeah, you can see she sat through quite a bit. We're constantly in and out of the ear with this at the moment. Working on the bottom here, we've broken some pieces off, so we've made this piece a little bit smaller. So what we're going to do now is try and turn this. I'm trying to find a narrow edge, if we can, to try and maneuver it towards the outer part of the ear canal. So I'm trying to turn, but it's such an awkward shape and such a narrow canal, it's not turning. We can't wiggle it out because we can't get a good enough suction grip using the fine end. So I'm just sort of pushing into the wax a little bit against the canal wall. Now I always say to, every time we do this video, we try and avoid the canal wall as much as we can. In this case, we don't really have much of an option. We have to work close to this canal wall. So when you're doing a procedure like this, you always check in with the patient, make sure they're happy, make sure they feel okay, they're comfortable, constantly reassuring. If they get uncomfortable, we'll take a break for a bit. But this lady just wanted this out. It was causing so many problems with her hearing, so uncomfortable in her ear that she just wanted to get rid of it. You can see we've managed to turn it now from the right to the left. So we're just spinning this wax a little bit, just guiding it around. Now I'm working on that section there, the smoother section, because sometimes you get slightly softer bits of wax when you turn it, so the front end might be really brittle, but you might get softer pieces behind. Unfortunately, in this case, it was just brittle all the way around, and there was just no no gap. There was just hardly any movement to this, so it was a real painstaking procedure to take this away. So to give that right hand side a bit of a rest, I'm trying to move the wax now across to the left hand side. You can see you can see there's a little bit of movement to it. Trying to turn it, trying to bring it from the right to the left, trying to guide it into the entrance you can see with the camera there. But it's just getting wedged, which means the back end of this wax is probably larger than the front end. So as I'm trying to maneuver it at the front section, the back section is restricting our the amount of movement we have. Now we've got a point there now. Okay, so this is the standard size tube now going in. I'm holding the canal open using the endoscope, or the sides of the endoscope, and then trying to get a grip and trying to hold on. Sometimes with the wider end, we can break larger pieces off that will just get sucked straight into the machine, but even with a wider end, it's not breaking anything. So because we've got that slight point, I'm going to use the crocodile forceps. You can see there's barely enough room to get the forceps in either side of this wax. And what you tend to find is, as you can see there, because it's narrow and then widens at the back end, when you try and push the forceps either side to get the good grip, the ends of the forceps inadvertently touch the wider section of the back and push it further in. So then you've got to work really hard then to get it back to the front of the canal again. So what I've decided to do is just kind of mash up the front end of this wax, break it down a little bit, and then we'll go in and remove that. So because it is quite hard, the forceps are good at kind of breaking harder wax down. This allows me then to use the suction to break some more pieces away, which is hopefully going to make it small enough to work its way out. You can see we've got a nice flat section there now. Working on any looser parts I can see. You can see just trying to break this chunk away. There, just try to turn it again. We're moving it down from the right to the left and then pulling it down from the top as well. We've got a bit of a ledge here, so I'm hoping this is going to snap off, which is just starting to there. So that gets another chunk off this wax. Still turning it, still trying to maneuver it around. You can see it's just moving, it's wobbling back and forth. Started to move deeper into the canal now, so we've got to try and grab it again and bring it back towards the front. You can see that wider back end there. This type of wax removal is always by far the most difficult, and unfortunately we're seeing more and more patients with these kind of problems coming through, just because the ear, nose and throat departments can't cope with the number of referrals they get in. So the waiting time you're talking to have this done in the hospital in most places in this area is anywhere from 3 to 6 months, so it takes a long time. So I've popped a little bit of olive oil in here. For two reasons. It's going to help us to get a hold on to this wax a little bit better. It's going to lubricate the canal wall, which is going to make it more comfortable for the patient, and we've got a better chance if we can get a little bit of a grip of this sliding, using the oil to slide out of the canal. Now you can see we're bringing it back around again, trying to get it to that front section of the canal, just really giving this a wiggle up and down. You can see now I told you to go away and make yourself a cuppa, because this takes forever to get. And this is just one side. Luckily, there was hardly anything in the other side. So, but the canal on the other side was that little bit more, a little bit wider, so a little bit more open. Now, as we've pulled down from the top, now we can see a little bit of dead skin. This means to me that we're getting closer to the end of this block of wax. So now we've put the oil in, look, we can spin it a lot more effectively. We're bringing this top section down now, so we are getting some good movement. Now the forceps are going to come into play again here, because I want to try and get above and below that little section of dry skin there. I'm hoping we've got enough of an angle to get that out, but unfortunately as we go in to do it, I can see I'm not going to get a good grip. I'm just going to push this further in. So I'm just going to use the fine end again now to spin. We can see we've got a slightly different shape now to this wax. Still too big to fit out of the canal, but more effective for getting the grip on with the crocodile forceps. So I've just got a grip there, just going to pull. You can see it's brittle, it's breaking away, it's not pulling out of the canal yet. Back in with the forceps again. You can see we've inadvertently just bumped it a little bit there, so it's moved again. Back in with the suction tube again now, clearing up any looser bits of debris, breaking away any smaller pieces that have just started to chip off the main bulk of the wax there. Can you see we've got this softer section now at the top, so just working that down. There we are. This is actually a little bit of dry skin that's been embedded in the back of this wax, so I'm just trying to get a good enough grip on that to work this out. And as we start doing that, you can see in relation to the size of the piece, quite a big piece of that wax has come away. See a lot more of this skin debris getting sucked into the machine. Now we're starting to see this plug breaking down. It's starting to loosen up a little bit now. Using that drier skin, it's more flexible, it's bendy, it's going to get sucked into the end of the suction tube really well, which is going to give us a slightly better grip. Sometimes this will be a ribbon that's running through the wax, so if you can break that away, it collapses the integrity of the block of wax. You can see that's what's starting to happen there. As we pull, we can see this back section here has become very loose. So if we can get this section out. Okay, so there we go. So I'm pressing down into the wax there. Now you can see it's starting to come forward. So I'm using the fine end almost a bit like suction and Jobson horn at the same time. So I'm getting into the wax, bring it forwards, using the suction to help, getting behind it. Because the Jobson horn is just too big, we can use this fine end like that just to bring this forwards then. So you can see now we've broken a piece away, which means this is starting to come away a little bit more effectively. Getting just behind that wax, bringing it down. You can see the length of that wax, the back end kicking up as you bring the front end down. There we go, brilliant. So we've got that front section away now. So we've got this back section here, which is just a collection of smaller pieces of wax. Still a bit on the large side to be able to get out of the canal. You can see really having to work this, wiggle it back and forth. That little bit of dry skin, it's just blocked the end of the suction there. So I'm trying to get behind it there. Now we've got behind it, we can bring it forwards. There you go. So sometimes you have to be a little bit adaptable for what you're doing. You can see we've got a collection of harder bits at the base of the canal. Now, because the canal was so narrow, it left me with very little movement near the eardrum. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to sort of guide it down. I'm going to aim for the sort of bigger bits that are close to the actual drum itself. So I can get to the bottom of the drum quite well, but I can't get to the attic. I just can't get the angle to get up there. So I'm going to take all these larger pieces away. There we are. It's all coming away now. Oh, got a bit stuck. There we go. And there we are. We can see we've got that harder piece there sitting in the center of the eardrum, so just want to grab that. This lady did so well. She sat through so much for this. And there we go. Oh, nearly fell off. There we are. Okay. And there we are. So we can see the eardrum there. Now you can see there's a little bit left in the top right hand corner. I just couldn't get the angle to get up there. Unfortunately, it just wouldn't allow it. And rather than work that close with not much movement, I'd rather leave it. And this is what we removed.
Thank you very much for watching our video today. If you did enjoy the video, then please like. If you're not subscribed already and you'd like to do so, you can click the subscribe button here. If you'd like to check out some more of our videos, they're also up there. Now, if you want to follow us, you can do on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also check our website if you want to know a little bit more about us. As always, guys, until the next time, take care.